My father, he worked for the railroad, and he was a pastor of Bethany Baptist Church here in San Antonio. We grew up worshiping God, loving God because of our parents.
My father's Reverend J.C. Glosson, a retired minister who pushed education. My dad had the best experience, he said, at Prairie View. And he told us, he said, kids, y'all need to go to college because you're going to find your mate in college, you know? And so he pushed education. I mean, there was no doubt. You're either going to go to college, he said, you're going in the military. And that was Dad's words.
That's right.
And my father wasn't 5'4". Little bitty man, weighed 120 pounds. But we didn't talk back to Dad. And he respected who he was, you know. But education was it. Education is the key, he said, to success. And you're going to get it.
Generations of Glossons followed in his footsteps and went on to study at Prairie View A&M, a place the family takes pride in.
The Glosson and Nance family, all of them were good athletes. And it just went from one generation to the next generation.
But success in sports took Clyde to a couple of other Texas schools, Trinity University here in San Antonio and University of Texas at El Paso.
And at UTEP, we had a sprint relay. We had the fastest time in the world in the sprint relay, and I'd anchored that relay team. And then from there, I was drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs. Then from the Kansas City Chiefs, I went to the Buffalo Bills and played from 1970 to 1972. Then I had a little time with the Houston Oilers in '73. And then the World Football League came around in 1974, and I went and played in the World Football League.
Clyde would return to San Antonio to teach with the San Antonio Independent School District and was inducted into their Athletic Hall of Fame. Growing up, Clyde, Edwin, and their brother Julius played all kinds of sports, turning them into top-tier talent going into high school.
Julius was the first star in the UIL from San Antonio. Matter of fact, Julius was one of the first who integrated high school here in San Antonio.
Growing up on the east side and playing at Phyllis Wheatley High School, Clyde said he didn't experience his first scent of racism until he was 14 years old.
I can remember this, I will never forget it. We qualified for the championship in Midland, Texas. And we decided we wanted to get something to eat. So we went to a hamburger place and we parked and we ordered. Some men started surrounding the car with bats and sticks. And we're looking for it and saying, what's going on here? Well, they said, well, you cannot eat here. Now, here I am, 14 years old. I'm thinking, wait a minute, you mean to tell me these grown men want to beat us with bats and sticks? But a lady came out with our hamburgers and she said, wait a minute. They came here to get hamburgers. Leave these young men alone. So she stopped them from trying to attack us.
In high school, they bus us to Houston from San Antonio every other week to play a football game. 1 week we would go to play Jack Yates in Houston. The next week, a black school from Houston, like Pre-Live Houston, would play us here. The next week we'd go there. And we ended up, I guess, learning how to adjust. We thought that was a normal way of life.
Yeah.
We saw nobody Anglo until we went to college.
At Trinity University, Clyde remembers traveling to play a team in Louisiana.
I was warming up catching punch before the game started, and they would call me all kinds of names in Louisiana. That's the first time that I experienced someone calling me a name like that. You know, you learn over a period of time, you know, how to love people. And my father had always taught us to love. He said, love is the most powerful force in the world. So when you love somebody, then you have the power of God within you. And so that didn't upset us because we were being called names. We just played the game. After the game was over, we came back to San Antonio.
So we were blessed. God had really blessed us. And I just thank my older brothers for paving the way for me, and hopefully I'll pave the way for others.
Edwin Glosson went down a different path.
I was a journalist by trade. I ended up going to the University of Missouri.
He started his career at a newspaper, then came back to San Antonio to take over the San Antonio Register, the city's second black-owned newspaper.
I would go to courts and speak on behalf of people that's facing a jury or a judge and ask for leniency for them or plead their case even. We were trying to help people as best we could. So we did a lot of stories on injustices.
The newspaper was started in 1931 by Valmo Bellinger, and it was known as a publication dedicated to right, justice, and progress.
But we tried to help people and fight for the rights of others. And that's what Clyde would do, I would do, and my dad did.
As for their mother, Edwin says she played a large part in their love for people, God, and confidence too.
She was always, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it, you know, and she turned out some wonderful, I would say, children.